All right, everyone, we are back, and we are here to talk about the 39th season of the Challenge main series, Battle for a New Champion. My initial thoughts on this is I'm honestly excited for this. Like we've seen on the main series lately that the same group of vets dominate the game, or as social media likes to call them, the vacation alliance, because they just do the same thing each season. They stick together. They don't care about anyone else. They just care about themselves. And if they get to a final, that's a victory for them because they don't care about who wins. As long as it's one of their quote unquote friends that wins, they're happy with that, which is so boring and makes the entire season seem pointless. This which leads me to believe why the producers thought to believe that this season will be really good because all these players have been rookies or former vets that actually have struggled to make it far in the game because of the group of returning friends. But with them all gone, no, they won't have that instant. Oh, they're not in our alliance, so they must go. So I'm excited, and most of these players are players that I've wanted to see succeed in the game before, like Jay, Michelle, Emmanuel, Chauncey, even Hui. So I'm really excited to see what all these players can do without all of the returning friend vets to instantly say, no, you're not worthy. We're kicking you off so that we can make it to a final, and that'll be that. So I'm excited to see what this new season can bring because it's sort of like a, a fresh injection into the game because for once we are not guaranteed to see the same thing again. Now, production wanted to have their cake, but they wanted to eat it too. Even though they wanted to have this sort of fresh start, they knew that if they did not bring back some of the champs that us regular viewers are familiar with, that the viewer count would be very low. So they brought in, so they're making the champs mercenaries. They can't win, but they can mess people up. Now, ten the 10 champs that are returning are Jordan, Kaz, Carmaria, Darrell, CT, Brad, Tori, Casey, Laurel, and Devin. Now, as far as what I think about these players, I expected like the four of them, that being Devin, Jordan, Casey, and Tori. They seem to be loved by production, and they're part of the vacation alliance that usually just plows to the end. So I'm not excited for them as a presence on the season, but at least like Jordan and Devin have interesting personalities that will make their eliminations somewhat worth watching. As for the other six, CT, Kara, Darrell, Laurel, Kaz, and Brad, those are the champs I wasn't expecting for them to bring in. Well, I was sort of expecting like a Darrell and a CT, mainly because we've seen Darrell on the past few seasons, and I think Darrell has an instant ticket to be a special player on any given season as long as he's available. And CT is the mercenary of mercenaries. He's what made the mercenary stake iconic. This is Banana's backpack. So I did expect those two to be on the cast. Laurel is someone that I didn't know would make an appearance. So, but I am excited to see what she can do in an elimination. I think that she can also beat any of the contenders, the women contenders, in a physical elimination. It's just, will they give her a mental elimination instead? As for the other three, Cara, Brad, and Kaz, Brad I didn't think was going to be on the cast, so I'm at least interested to see what Bionic Brad can do. Kaz, she's a two-time champ. She's only done 2 seasons, 2 finals, 2 wins, so she's a newbie legend. So I'm excited to see what she can do with this whole legend status that she's cultivated over recently. And then we get to the big one. Cara Maria's grand return to the challenge. She initially returned on All Stars 4, which filmed in January earlier this year, but due to the writer's strike, and a whole bunch of messed up bleep, All Stars 4 has been postponed so much that I believe that they'll just premiere it in January of next year. So this is, instead of All Stars 4 being her grand return, this will be her grand return, and I am honestly excited. I'm not a big Cara Maria fan, but she can bring the heat in elimination, so I'm excited for that, and I pray for whoever goes up against her because she is a machine. Now it's time to get into the reason why you all are here. To talk about the 24 returning contenders coming to try to earn their first championship. And first, we have Asaf Gordon. Now, my opinions on Asaf are he's probably one of the weakest guys on the cast. I mean, I first got into the challenge when Total Madness appeared, and I only did that because I learned Jay was going to be on the cast. At the time, I was a huge Survivor fan, so when I heard a Survivor player was going to be on a show like this, I wanted to see the show. And going into Total Madness and seeing Jay annihilate Asaf, like that's how my impression on what the challenges began, and how my definition of a weak player is. Essentially, I created a soft player, the player that would go down first and would lose handedly. And I still think Soft is still that player, just now he's probably more socially tied to make it further, but I don't think he's any less or more of the player than we saw get eliminated in the first episode of Total Madness. So we might see more of him, but I honestly think he's still the same guy. Alright, moving on. We have Berna from 3 seasons of Survivor Turkey. Berna, going to Spy Side Analysis, I believe, was a strong personality, and she was highly culpable in the challenges. She managed to win one daily challenge in her season with CT before getting backstabbed by him in favor of Emmy, and then she was sent down into the elimination and ultimately lost. Now, I didn't think it wasn't her fault that she lost that elimination, that was her partner, so I think Berna's a culpable athlete, and I think with this sort of clean slate, I think Berna can find herself in a power position and go far into the season. The only worry I have is she's a strong player and she can be in a power position, but she could find herself on opposite ends of another power team we will be talking about later. Okay, moving on. We have our most experienced player on the board. This will be her 5th season. We have the lovable Big T. Big T got her started on World of the Worlds 2 and went 4 seasons in World Wars II, Total Madness, Double Agents, and Spies, Lies, and Allies, where, after getting eliminated very close to the final, she announced that she will be taking a break to go to culinary school, but she is back for this season. My thoughts on Big T are, well, we've seen Big T do really well in the past. Like Double Agents was her season. That was the season of Big T. Even though she didn't win, I think she did the best she can do on that season. Going into this season, on the other hand, I think will have the opposite effect. I don't see Big T being tied down to anyone here, and even though there's some rookies that she tried to work with in the past, she was on the vet side and she burned most of those relationships. So they might decide, oh, she's the most experienced vet on the board and she betrayed us before. Let's return the favor and get her out early. Even though I love Big T, she hasn't shown that she's greatest in eliminations. She won one against Anissa, but that was an elimination that was greatly detrimental to persons such as Anissa. So even though I think Big T has a potential, it's just a matter of can she manifest it soon enough where she can make a potential deep run. Alright, moving on, we have Callum from the Challenge UK. Now, I watched UK, and when I watched Callum, I wasn't high or low on him. I just enjoyed the experience of watching him on UK. I never thought he would make the transition to do even another season because he's so popular in the UK. So why would he go from the royalty, the palace that he set up there, to come here? But he is now here, and even though we've seen Callum do well on the UK, he never won anything in the challenges. He never went into elimination, and he came third place in the final. So even though I think Callum would be a strong screen presence and he has personality to back it up, I don't see him being the most threatening competitor when it comes to the dailies or the eliminations. And most of the people here, Callum doesn't know, so he'll have to work from the ground up in order to get his footing here. All right, now moving on, we have Chauncey Palmer, who in the previous season, Ride or Dies, came along as Amber's boyfriend. Now, Zaddy, as he and Amber just had a baby girl. I can see Chauncey doing well in this season. He has social ties to his previous season in Ride or Dies. He's physically fit, and plus, he has sympathy to go deep into the game because, well, he's a new dad. I don't. Who would be cruel enough to send a new dad out the game early on? Because early on, that would just be cold-hearted if someone did that. Eek. All right. Next up, we have from the Challenge Australia, we have Kieran. Kieran came second in that final, being beaten by Troy, and I wasn't high or low on Kieran. Kieran, okay, maybe I was leaning more high, but that was just because other presences on the cast were even worse than him. I don't expect Kieran to do incredibly well on the season. The cast of Australia was tailored for him to go far. This cast has the inverse effect. What I do want to see from Kieran during his time here is that I want to see if he can keep his junk in his pants, to be frank. In Australia, he had a girlfriend. I don't know what's going on with them now, but on night 1 or 2, he got drunk and started kissing with another girl. He managed to smooth things over, but going into another challenge setting, I want to see if he can control his impulse this time around. Okay, moving on. We have Colleen from last season, Ride or Dice. I didn't like Colleen the first time around. I thought she was bland. I wasn't a fan of the drama she got into. I always said out of the Kim and Colleen duo from Paradise, I would much rather seen Kim return than Colleen. But Colleen is here, Kim isn't, so I need to get used to having Colleen on this season. As far as what I think she'll do, I don't think she'll have much of a chance. I think she's probably one of the weaker women on the cast. I don't see her being a huge threat, and I think if she goes into any elimination that's not tailored to absolutely screw someone else over, I think she'll be an easy elimination win. Alright, moving on, we have Corey Lay. I liked Corey Lay on Spider-Man and Alex. I thought he was a fantastic addition to the early game, which was the only part of Spider-Man and Alex that was enjoyable. So to see him return here with a cast that is a lot like him, I think that Corey will be an absolute star of a player, and he has multiple beefs and dramas with people on the cast, and he's jacked. So I expect great scenes from Corey. Okay, next up we have someone that I am really excited to talk about. We have Ed from the original Circle. Now, the Circle did not suit Ed, especially since he came in as the last person to compete on the Circle, which immediately screwed him over, which is why the Circle is just not my cup of tea. It benefits the people who come in from the start and screws over those who are later additions. And Ed was 100% screwed over there. But the challenge 100% suits him. He was going to Spice Life finales. He was the Labrador of the season. Everyone loved him. He was sociably great. He won a daily challenge. He was amazing on that season. I rarely get this excited over a contestant, but I am excited with Ed. I'm confident he can do amazing on this season. I don't see anyone targeting him or wanting him out. I don't see him having bad blood with anyone. If I was to bet on who would get to a final, Ed would be in that category 100%. No one is getting rid of this Labrador this time around. Okay, now we have, in my opinion, one of the best competitors from a single season on the cast. We have Emmanuel. And why I say that? Emmanuel won 6 daily challenges and 1 elimination on this season before he was eliminated just minutes before the final. That is a true competitor. People are sleeping on Emmanuel going into the season. He's sociably really great. He's clearly great physically. He's the total package when it comes to the challenge. So Emmanuel is incredible, and he's going to be one to look out for on this season. Just know it. Okay, going from one great competitor to another, we have, in everyone's opinion, the front runner of the season. We have Horacio. Horacio, great guy, even get greater competitor, tying the elimination record of a single season with 5, a record that hasn't been matched since 2006. Incredible. I understand why people believe that Horacio is the frontrunner of the season, and I also think they're right. I think if he gets to that final, he's going to be hard to beat. But that's where the trick comes in. The final is the very last thing, so he has to get through the entire season to get to the final. Can he outlast everyone to get to the final, or will he fall just short? Moving on from 2 great competitors, 3 great competitors, to one of the weakest in my opinion. We have Huey. Compliments for Huey. He has a large butt. That's all I got. I don't think he's going to be great socially or physically. He's one of the weakest people on the cast. I see Huey going out early for multiple reasons. I think it's only a matter of time. Okay, going from one weak competitor to another, we have James Lockie from the Challenge UK. I am shocked that James is on this cast. Never in a million years I think James would be on the main season, let alone getting another chance after he completely botched it his first time around. He lost the first elimination, and during the first daily challenge, he got double black eyes. Like, if I'm concerned, a soft as my focal point for a weak competitor, James will be even lower than a soft. I honestly have no faith in James going into the season. I think he'll be an early target, and unless he made some serious improvements in the in between time, I see him losing easily. That's my opinions on James Lockie. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay, going from 2 competitors I think will go out early to one that I think is guaranteed the final, we have Jay Starrett. I talked about Jay earlier. He is the reason why I got into the challenge, and I also think he's guaranteed the final. He's worked with a majority of these players before in the past seasons, and he's one of the strongest competitors in this game, and it's high time Jay gets a win. Like, he did Survivor in 2016, I want to believe. Got 6th place, came onto the challenge. Three seasons, and always games thrown in and losing. I want to see Jay get that win for his family and to prove to everyone that he's one of the best competitors we have ever seen. I think this is a season made for Jay. I think he's a big inspiration for the format, and if Jay somehow loses this season or doesn't make it to a final, then I need to seriously go over and look to see what keeps going wrong for him. Okay, moving on. Now we're going to someone who has a short history on the original season of the Challenge Australia. We have Jessica. She was only on 3 episodes of the Challenge Australia. She was safe. Then she won a daily challenge with Troy. Then she lost an elimination with David, sending her out the door. Her history is sort of unique as production likes her. She She was originally wanted to be on World Championship before she got swapped out for Emily, but now she's on the main season. I think going into the season, she's a bit over her head. She'll have a rough start in the beginning for sure, but we saw that early potential before elimination in Australia, so if she can repeat that, I think she can go far in the season. Alright, now moving on to our next player, we have a two-time challenger making her main series debut. We have Huhui. Huhui is definitely someone that I'm definitely shocked and impressed with at the same time, even though she hasn't been a really solid challenger in either of her appearances. Because before Argentina, Huhui was a model, and then she got the call for Argentina. She went there. She didn't do much. She was on a few episodes before she got eliminated. But then she got the call to do World Championship, and she didn't pass on the opportunity. She went on. She went out early with Nelson, but I don't know why, but she has the challenge bug because this will be her third season that she's done in under a year. So either she's just going for an easy paycheck or she's really into the game now and she wants to make a career out of this. As for what I think who we can do in this season, we've seen how sociable she can be. It's just a matter of can she do it fast enough to where people will want to keep her around. Plus, she needs to work on her athleticism. She's probably one of the weaker women coming into the game, but I think she has the potential to back it up. We will be talking about Kyland from Big Brother 23. He also made an appearance on the Challenge USA. He was one of the strong competitors on that season before getting eliminated. I think going into this season, Kyland will be one of the stronger competitors. Like, say, he'll probably not be as strong as like a Horacio or a Jay or Emmanuel, but I think he'll be stronger than a James or an Asaf. So I can see him going far into this season, but I don't think he'll have the initial safety comfort going in. So I think he'll have to rely on his brute force to get him far into the game. And as long as he doesn't have any social mishaps, like he did in Big Brother, I can see him doing well along this season. Okay, moving on. Now we have a real star of the game. We have Melissa. Melissa's done 3 seasons of the challenge, really just 2, in Vendettas, Final Reckoning, and Total Madness. We lost all her in Total Madness, where she made it to the final, but she had to withdraw halfway through because she realized that she was pregnant during the season. Yeah, I know, shocker. Not really. The challenge has multiple women getting pregnant on the season. It's a whole thing that they should really start fixing. Anyway, going into this, Melissa should be one of the stronger women on the cast, but she hasn't been around the challenge scene for a while, so I think that she won't be as instantly connected as some of the other women on this cast. But I think if she can do what she does best, I think we can see her go far into the game. Okay, now we're going to be talking about 4 women who I'm really excited to be seen on this season, and going into this season, I believe will initiate the original power structure because these 4 women are friends from the previous season, and I think that they'll be seen as the power team. First, we'll be talking about Michelle Fitzgerald. Talked about Michelle before. I love the girl. And she's coming into this season very well insulated, and I think she'll do really well in season. The only sad part about her being on the cast is with USA 2 still going on, and with her still being there, they're practically just telling us, oh no, Michelle doesn't win this season, because they wouldn't allow her, if she had won USA 2, she wouldn't be on the cast, so they're pretty much spoiling part of the season. The fact that Michelle does not win, which is definitely disappointing. But if she didn't win USA 2, I think she'll do even better on this season. She's coming with a lot of allies, such as Jay and the other three women we'll be talking about. I think Michelle will do really well on the season. Moving on, we have one of the strongest girls on the season. We have Mariah. She came in last season as Fessel's friend, and she spent a lot of the time on that season just catering to Fessy and just trying to support him as her friend. But no, not this time. She's coming in alone with a friend that she's made from last season. And I don't see anyone trying to go against Mariah. And I think as long as she doesn't cause too much drama, she will make the final easily. Alright, this third woman out of the four, we have Nerys. Nerys came in last season as Nelson's friend. She's really good. She won multiple dailies on that season, helping Nelson break his daily challenge losing streak. And Nerys herself is a very strong competitor, as we saw. And this season, there won't be any jealous vets, there won't be any insecure people. And she's going into this, she's probably the most protected out of the four women, and I can see her being a strong competitor in a final, so I think she'll have a real shot at not only getting to a final, but winning it as well. Alright, here we are, our final woman out of this foursome. We have fan favorite Olivia. Now, she proved herself to be a very strong competitor in eliminations and in dailies last season. She made it to the final with Horacio, but she got medically DQ'd because earlier on she cut her finger on some hooks during a portion of the final. But what really took her out was that dumb production did not often give her safety goggles, and so when she went back to pull the slingshot with a golf ball in it, she launched it, and the golf ball came right back and hit her square in between the eyes, breaking her face, her forehead, her eye sockets, her nose. It was a bloody mess. Shame on you, production! Like, how did you not realize that would be a safety hazard? But anyway, she's coming this season as a strong competitor. People know that. And I think that she'll be golden going into this. I don't see anyone wanting to go against her. And I think she'll have a real shot at getting to that final. Now, I talked about the four women: Michelle, Mariah, Nerys, Olivia. The four of them got really close on Ride or Dies and have become friends. And going into this season, I think those four will stick together really well and bring in numbers to help them. And if I'm to bet on which women will make the final, I'm betting on these four right now because I don't see them breaking up. Okay, going into our final two contenders for the season. First, we have Raven. Raven's not the strongest competitor, but we did see her get a daily win in the very first episode. But after that, it was a deterioration. She ended up going to elimination early on. where she had a humiliating elimination where she got constantly knocked out of her shoes. It was so hilarious. She's had multiple confrontations with the woman most likely going to be in power this season, so I expect her to go into eliminations early on. It's just a matter of will she be able to win them. Okay, going from a weak woman to a strong woman, we have the contender that was so close to becoming a champion herself. We have Zara. She made it to the final her first season in UK, and she came less than a minute away from becoming a champion, losing to Kaz. But still, less than a minute away from becoming a champion. That is impressive. She then went on World Championship where she partnered with West. They were an impressive duo together, and it was going so well until a catastrophe issue happened where she didn't drink the drink. She went into elimination, and she lost. Zara is probably one of the strongest women on the cast. I don't think she'll be socially ingrained at the start, but I see her being around long enough where she'll get her footing eventually. It's just a matter of, as long as it's nothing physical and something that might injure her, I can see her doing great on the season. I think this will be another season in her book that she'll be part of for a long time now. Alright, that's the entire cast. Let me know what you think about these players down in the comments. And let me just go into what I think will happen as a result of the season. I think the intention behind it to introduce these new players to bring forth this new era of the challenge will succeed, but that new era might just be shorter than they think, because what do you think will happen to these players once season 40 comes, where I'm guessing most of these players will be brought into that season? They're just, same thing just going to happen all over again. So, because no matter how you want to phrase it or how you want to put it, the vets who are friends and all that are a tight-knit group, and they will not condone with any outsiders to them. And most of these players are outsiders, so it also doesn't matter how many opportunities they have, because to them, they will always just be that one way, which sickens me. So they will never be accepted. But if these players can bond in their own way with each other and support each other, then we can see an opposing side to the Vacation Alliance that has dominated the last few seasons, which is what I want to see. It's just a matter of, can these players do it? Either way, though, I honestly expect we'll see a fresh, brand new season that I am personally excited for from the cast. From what I've gotten from the format, I'm a bit confused, but I'm sure it will make sense as it goes on. But until then, I am VoidTune. Please comment, like, and subscribe. It helps the channel out greatly. And see you next time, when next week, finally the start of the jury will happen for Big Brother 25, and I was going to do a mid-season power ranking, but that ship has long sailed. That can't happen anymore, so I'm just going to go over the players that are remaining going to the jury stage so I can assess who has the most likely chance to win the season. Okay, see you next week then. Bye.